You're listening to the podcast To Be Single or Not to Be by Shanna Montana, a podcast where we talk about the single life, dating, and relationships so you can make a decision at the end of each episode and decide to be single or not to be. That is the final question.
So today's topic is, what about your friend? Let's talk about friendships. No, seriously. Today's topic is, what about your friends? Let's talk about friendships. And I felt it was necessary to have this conversation because recently I've run into a couple of situations, not really dealing with me directly, but with other people where it just seems people don't value friendships the way that I do or the way that I think people used to. I think people take friendships for granted. And I think some people just really don't recognize the value in having long lasting friendships and the joy that they really bring to your life. So I thought it was necessary to bring some guests on to have a really candid conversation around friendships, to really just give the listeners that perspective to know, friendships are dope if you pour into them, if you pour into them with the right people. And on the other side of that, sometimes you got to know when it's time to let go. So, and I think that's a an uncommon thing or a thing we don't want to do as we get older, but sometimes it happens where it's like you really do outgrow things, and we'll really dive into that on this episode. But before we get started, of course, I want to acknowledge my three amazing guests that we have on today's show. And we're just going to go from left to right. Nikisha, tell the people who you are.
What's up, people? It's Nikisha.
That's it.
That's all.
I'm at it. Reese, tell the people who you are.
Hey y'all, it's Reese. I tried to prepare a tagline, but it wasn't hidden, so it's just Reese.
Okay, I'm with it. I'm with it. Enjoy. Last but not least, tell the people who you are.
Hey y'all, it's Joy. And yeah, that's it. That's
Okay. I'm here for the one-liners, but I got something else for y'all. Before we dive in, on a scale of 1 to 5, I'm going to start with you, Joy, and come back around to keep it fair. On a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the greatest it has ever been in your life, how is your love life?
1 to 5 and 5 being which one?
5 being the greatest it's ever been in your life.
So I'm gonna give it a 5.
Okay.
But I love myself. So that was the twist.
Yeah, I love the self-love answer.
Yes.
People tend to come on here a lot and throw that in there. I'm gonna start giving like a caveat. You can't say it's about you. No,
Yeah.
I'm here for it. I'm here for the 5. Yes, self-love is real. Reese, what would you say?
I would give it about a 3.5.
Okay. Is that for you or your overall love life?
Just combined.
Okay.
Overall. There we go. It's the average.
I got you. And Nikki, what would you say?
I'm with Joy. I'm at a 5. But
Okay.
That's me.
All right.
I'm
With
at
you.
a good spot. So, we're doing good things.
I'm gonna let y'all make it. All right. All right. So let's dive into today's conversation. So that said, I want you ladies to tell me, it doesn't matter who goes first. How important is friendship to you on a scale of 1 to 10? Since we're doing a rating scale right now anyway, on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is friendship to you? Because not everyone feels like they need friends.
Oh, well, I guess I'll kick it on off.
Yeah.
I would say friendship is extremely important. I would rank it at about a 9 because
Okay.
I grew up with a bunch of sisters. So
Okay.
even if I, have some falling outs with friends, I still
Yeah.
got my forever friends. So
A 9. That's good. I'm looking at you.
Like Reese, I have siblings, so I've always had somebody around, right?
Yeah.
But I would rate it about importance. So let's give it an 8.5. And it's only because even without the friendships, say if I didn't have them
Mhm.
currently, and even if I wasn't that close with my siblings, haven't had the experiences it still had its important impact on my life. So I give it like
Right.
an 8.5.
Okay. Enjoy. Last but not least.
I'm gonna go with an 8. And I'm gonna say an 8 because like they mentioned, having family and sisters and sisterhood is important. But what I've learned, like most people over the last 3 years in this pandemic that we've been living in, my friends have poured into me, and I've learned how to pour into my friends more.
Yeah.
So I like kind of cherish the bonds and the relationships that we've made. And I feel like a lot of my core friends came out of that time where it was just like, we need each other.
Yeah.
We gotta lean into each
Absolutely.
other. So I'm gonna give it a solid 8 because I need them, and I'm sure they need me as well.
Yeah, I love that. I'm not gonna rate mine, but
Okay, so we got one pass.
No, I know, it's my show. I get that privilege. No, I think, when it comes to friendship, I'm sure most people will recognize for me, friendship for me is probably like a 9. Because I have siblings, but we aren't very close in age, all of us. So we didn't like grow up where they were really like my friends. I think they're more of my friends now. I think that's the beauty of like adulthood. Even if you like hated your siblings when you were younger, they're like really cool as you get older, but not having kids and being a transplant in Nashville, as they call us, not having that core family here, your friends are your family, as I like to call them. So I think it's, for me, super duper important. Anybody that knows me intimately would probably agree with that. So I want to ask this now. Do you feel like if you woke up tomorrow with no friends on earth, would your existence be the same?
I'll kick it off.
Okay.
And I'm going to say no.
Okay.
And I'll say no because so earlier this year, I did lose a friend. Obviously, I didn't lose my life, but my aunt, who was my best friend, she passed. And so I'm like, okay, I could see it now on the other side, how losing someone so close can like kind of impact how you're going to navigate life. But I didn't lose myself because I still have like the things that she taught me, the lessons that I've learned. It just made me a better person.
Right.
It's going to hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you have nobody, to your question, but I still have my true self. So I don't know what I'm going to lean into, but I got to figure it out.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give up.
And you still have the things that she taught you, even if somebody sometimes is no longer like earth side with us, or even if the friend, the friendship ends and they're still on earth, you sometimes do have things you can still take away that are beneficial, and you can hold on to that, and being true to that will kind of help you still navigate the way. So I really like that. So what would you guys say? Would existence be the same if you woke up with no friends? Y'all know it's a movie, not a movie, but a show on FX. If you haven't heard of it, I think it's called XY or Chromosome Y. It's some show on FX. Just Google. It's a show where you wake up and no men exist on Earth. Wouldn't that be perfection?
I've seen a preview for that.
So that's kind of where I got this from. But yeah, it's a real show on FX. I can't think of the name of it, guys, but it's where no men are on Earth. So leaning back to you, ladies, what would you say?
I would say for me, existence would be different.
Yeah.
Because all of my friends have a different part of them that have impacted my life. So I feel like I draw a lot of things that maybe I aspire to attain, or some things about me I'm trying to work on. And my friends are like those people that kind of like make me accountable for that. And so like, if I didn't have those relationships, I feel like having those same connections would be, I think it would be difficult to try to build them with other people, right? Because you've built those, like you said, family.
Yeah.
And so I've taken so much from my friendships and also put back into them.
Yeah.
So to not have those would make me feel like, okay, so do I want to go down this path again with other friends to try to build those relationships again? Or do I feel like, okay, I know how to be a friend. I can move forward and know how to do it this next time around. But I really do feel like it would definitely impact my life.
Yeah. And that's something I don't think people think about. That's why I wanted to ask it this way. And last but not least, Reese, what would you say?
I definitely think that it would be a different experience, but because I tend to value the individual relationships that I have with my friends, even within friend groups, I think that, of course, it's, drawing from the lessons learned in those friendships and just understanding self-sufficiency based on how we've, poured that into one another. I feel like I would be able to go forth. You know, I have sisters, I have other people that are close to me that we've built or created friend-like relationships. But overall, I think it would be different just because you don't have this person that, you know, I talk to this particular friend about, I don't know, makeup tutorials. And now you know who I'm talking to about makeup, you know, or the friend that I talk to more about, you know, life decisions. You know, if the friend that I go to seek out that advice is no longer here, of course it'll be different, but I'm self-sufficient in that I'm comfortable navigating through life, making decisions on my own if I need to. But I would definitely miss the input of my friends.
The feedback is necessary. So did y'all grow up with like great friends around you, or did you like have to learn that in adulthood? And I asked that question because, you know, I didn't grow up in a household necessarily where like we gave hugs. And I learned that like when I got to college, when I went to TSU, the Tennessee State University. And so when I think about sometimes when I encounter people that kind of struggle with friendships or how to show up in sisterhood, I tend to think like, I kind of was privileged in a way that, you know, Lilas, you know, you join organizations like that, or you join sororities, or there were other like sisterhood type organizations, or even co-ed organizations where I formed like a family bond with those people. And they taught me what like friendship looked like, what family looked like outside of my own family. So I would say one for me, growing up, I think I kind of always had friends around me. I don't really know to what extent, because if I look back, that's a heck of a reflection. I don't know if we have enough time, you know, but I think that I'm an extrovert. So I've always kind of been a sociable person, but I didn't go, I would say go into like my college years, knowing exactly how to navigate a friendship or navigate those, you know, non-romantic relationships. So I really like learned that along the way. And I feel like sometimes, even though don't shout out to Navient or Nailnet, whoever the hell my loans are with. Me and my friends sometimes joke that, you know, the reason we ended up going to college was so we could meet each other. You know, if I got nothing else out of it but that friendship, I would be okay with that. So what would you say? Do you all think like, you know, navigating friendships and all that stuff just came kind of natural to you, or was always there? Or did you kind of figure it out as you got older?
I think for me, it was a little bit of both. So I have a sister that's my age, and we grew up together, but we fall within the same friend groups.
Okay.
So, you know, growing up with sisters, you learn what sisterhood truly means early on. You learn, you know, the pretty side of it, but then you learn about, you know, the dark side of it. And in that you learn, I feel I learned how to navigate conflict. You know, certain things that I may not necessarily say to a friend outright, I would say to my sisters.
Oh, yeah.
So as I got older and I, you know, went to college and I started to create friendships there, you know, I still have my sister, that's my sister, but a part of this friend group. But I had to kind of find that balance for, well, I can't necessarily communicate with the group as a whole in the way that I talk to my sister, you know? So there was definitely a lot that I had to learn there. But in the same breath, it's kind of like my approach to friendship is sisterhood. So I want to make sure like, okay, you know, these new friends that I'm getting in college, I hope that we can be comfortable enough that I can regard you as a sister, because the two are interchangeable for me. So there was definitely a lot that I had to learn about actual friendships, you know, a friendship that evolves out of just friendliness versus a friendship that evolved out of a sisterhood, actual sisterhood. So
those core fundamentals. Because I remember being in college and it was a young lady that I was hanging around, and I think I definitely had to be kind of green. But I wasn't so green that people didn't like warn me. And I remember somebody from the football team literally being like, Shayna, stop hanging around that girl. And I was like, why? They was like, just stop hanging around her. They didn't even go in detail. And I was, you know, I was a little green, but I was smart enough to know, like, I'm gonna listen to what their brother said and I'm gonna stop hanging around that girl, you know? So certain things like that. So what would you guys say? What was it, your experience growing up?
I would say it's a mesh between the two. So growing up, of course, you have your family, so you have to navigate that. So I have a cousin, we're a couple months apart. Then I have my sister a year under me. I have another sister. So multiple different personalities, having to navigate how I interact with them, right? Yeah. And so that kind of helped me when I moved into, I'm a more introverted person, especially when I was younger.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. It's better now. But, you know, I did a lot of things like, okay, I'm over here doing my thing. Don't bother me. So I wasn't really pressed, I want to say. But when I got to high school, then you have the opportunity to join, like you said, clubs. I did athletic teams, things like that. And so my love and commonalities with those, with those young ladies at the time, kind of helped us to navigate and forge the relationships. And so they were built upon the things that we like to do. We're all going through the same thing, right? High school students just trying to get out the house. Yeah. But once you
trying to get somebody's car.
Just get in somebody's car and go. So, you know, meeting up at people's house, the thing. Yeah. So, but once you, like you said, once you get to college, so that's a different space. I'm the oldest. And so I don't have people to lean into. So I feel like I was lacking that ability to seek advice from people at the time. But then you have to learn how to navigate with people when they're going through life. So like, you know, in high school, you're not going through life in that same
You think
respect.
you are, but you're not.
You're not, you know? So it's like, you know, family, or if you're a parent, or relationships, or financial things. And so you start building those relationships. And so it really does push you to start learning how, okay, I have this friend that I can talk to about this. I have this friend about relationships. And so it made me, I feel like college made me learn how to be a great friend to people, because it's not necessarily me getting something every time I interact, but as long as they're coming to me for something, I'm able to give something back. Right. And so making sure I have that balance with them. So I feel like you said, as you grow older, you start to place more value on them, because you understand why you have the relationships and why you actually have multiple ones.
Yeah, you have
one person can't take all my
not at all. And I think for listeners, something you really touched on for listeners, I know it's some out there that have kids that are growing up or maybe like middle school, high school age. I think that's why it's so important to get them in like sports and clubs and around other people, because I talked a lot about, you know, college, but when I think back and playing softball, basketball, track, whatever, all the things under the sun, that was relationship building as well. That was character building. That taught me how to work with other people, to deal with conflict, to manage it, you know, because we all had the sports we played where you had like the one player who mama was always up there acting a fool if they couldn't bat first, or if they weren't playing, and you just had to learn, like, you know, like you, whatever the coach say, that's what you do. My grandma wanted to come to act the fool.
Exactly.
So you had to learn, like, I gotta see you niggas in Thursday anyway.
You gotta figure it
out.
So,
right. Exactly. So I might as well enjoy it. So Joy, what was your experience?
I think for me, going back to like in elementary school, the sports and parents being involved, because my mom was that parent. Like, no, you're gonna go play. And I was like, no, I didn't want to play basketball. I was cheering on I was cheering on the bench, but I was on the girls' basketball team. But my mom didn't want me to be a cheerleader. Like, I'm battling. Okay, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna show up. But as far as like how the relationships evolve, like I actually just recently had a conversation with someone I actually went to both elementary school and college with, because I was like, you just disappeared. And but because her family, they moved around a lot. Her dad was like an executive at a cell phone company, and they moved around and started new markets and things like that. And she just thought once you left, that was the end of a friendship.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, no, girl, like I've been looking for you. Yeah. I just thought, it just having these conversations about how much that time that we spent together while she was with me in elementary school, we then formed this even greater bond in college. And now it's adults out of college and really getting into life. And so I look back over, okay, like you said, like you had these friends in grammar school and high school that you kind of just like, we were just doing life. Yeah. So we knew it as, and how we enjoyed ourselves. We just enjoyed being around each other. But then when I got to college, I didn't have those friends that kind of knew me, because I was an introverted, extroverted type of person.
Ambivert.
All of that.
Yeah.
I enjoyed being around people, but I wasn't the one to always initiate.
Yeah.
I think now I'm a little bit more comfortable, but that came out of the relationships in college because they pushed me a little bit harder and a little bit further in just my whole, maturation process and just being a better person to myself, thus being a better friend. And so it's like I have these like pockets of friends where it's like, okay, we all went to high school together. That's the core group that I have, and we could talk about life, but we've all had different experiences. We didn't go to college together. Some people didn't move away from home, so that looks different.
Yeah.
They didn't really get to have all of the experiences that I've been blessed to have over the years. Then I have my college friends where it's like, we grew up together. Like, we
literally. I literally had a friend like, bitch, I was at your 19th birthday. I'm like, what?
So I enjoy having those conversations with friends, but it's just now it just gives me so much more joy seeing them now and like living in a family life, living in their careers and just seeing things like come into, fruition for them. And it's just like, well, damn. I remember when we wrote that on our vision board. So I appreciate different relationship groups and different relationships that I have with individuals because we were at different parts of our lives together. And then now it's like, okay, we're all doing it with, with different parts of our lives, but we're together still.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. And I had an episode that's going to come out, I think before this, I can't remember. Yeah, y'all go back. It's going to be there on sisterhood. And I did one, and I feel it was necessary to still do two different conversations because that dived a little bit deeper. But the friendship definitely touches on it because the young ladies, I'm holding young, the ladies that I had on the show with me, I was like, some of them, they've been friends before college, but with us, I was like, y'all, this is literally like 18 years of friendship. And it was like, how do we maintain it? And the biggest thing, one of the things we took away was like the intentionality behind how intentional we are. We're in, it was a meme on Instagram at one point, like nobody told us all our friends were going to be scattered across the country, but we get that, if I have the means to travel, the means to go there, and it's all about, I may not be able to show up for everything, but I'm there for what I can be. I'm always a phone call away. When we do pick up, sometimes it's just homecoming. It's like we never missed a beat. Exactly. We right back to what we were. So that's the beautiful thing of it. So that said, do you all feel like present day, because we see so much on social media, we hear so many horror stories, we watch the YouTube videos. Do y'all feel like people take friendship for granted?
Yes.
We do. You said that real clearly. Why?
I do, because like you said, the time we're in now, people want things fast.
The microwave.
And so
the millennial urge to rush.
And so it's like, okay, like even with relationships, regardless if they're friendships or romantic. So it's like, I want to go from here to here, from 0 to 100 within a matter of weeks, a month tops. And so people don't have the patience to pour in and develop friendships, right? Because like you said, you have to be intentional with a lot of your relationships. And if you don't have the time to try to get to know that person, see why you are connected, if it's worth pursuing a friendship, and they don't take the time to do that. So on surface level, we like to kick it together. Like me and you, it's me and you. Like if nobody else want to fuck with it, it's gonna be me and you.
Yeah.
But when all that's said and done, how else are we connected? And so I don't feel like, like you said, we can have things that we enjoy together, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we have a solid foundation of a friendship because it's based on something that one of us have to feel like doing.
Yeah. Yeah. And it shouldn't feel that way. So I ask this, why do you all feel like, or I don't say feel like, I feel like this, but why do you all think we neglect that piece of friendship in relationships? We skip that. A lot of people like meet somebody. Oh, I like him. Oh, I like her. Then it's immediately trying to figure out like, what are we going to be? Are we going to be together? Going to be in a relationship? We don't think about like, take your time, slow down, be friends, see if you even like this nigga.
Right.
So,
I think it's just because in this social media age, everything is transactional. And it's just like, what am I getting out of this? Like you said, if it's a romantic partner, I'm getting love, connection, and all the other things that go with it. But with a friend, just a genuine friend,
I ain't getting enough.
I don't want to go to drinks.
I feel like I don't get enough.
Right? But also with that, like initiating relationships, like what you were saying, it's like, well, a lot of people have different platforms and businesses. If I don't have anything to match, then it's also like, okay, well, what am I getting from you? The other person may look at it like that. I don't have anything to sell you. We just gonna sit here and talk about life. Right. It's designer puss. So. But it's just like, I've also been challenged with that because it's like I'm in certain circles or I'm going to different events and it's just like, hey girl, I see you here. I don't have a business card, but let's just talk. Let's just interact because we're here for a common purpose, obviously. Right. But it just doesn't translate to that in a lot of spaces. Yeah. So I think it's just because a lot of people are transactional nowadays.
What am I going to get in return? In the friendship with this guy ain't giving a whole lot.
But it's okay.
It is okay. It should be okay with a lot more people. It's not. That's the problem. What would you say, Reese?
To which question?
In regards to why people neglect the friendship. We just skip all the steps. Skip 200, pass go, pay $200, straight to jail.
I think it's about the fantasy. Like we were talking earlier about the young lady and, her wanting to date. She has this ultimate goal of where she wants her relationship life to end. But she's kind of skipping all of these steps because she feels comfortable or because this person, is likable.
No, they just want to reach the end goal.
I'm more concerned about my goal. So in some instances, I think that as people, we kind of immediately link to kindred spirits. I'm comfortable with your energy. I like the way that you dress. That's something that I would wear, right. Off of a surface level introduction. I'm kind of like, okay, I like this person.
Yeah.
So we kind of just assume that because of this likability that a friendship could evolve from that, because at minimum we have a shared understanding on A, B, C, and D.
Yeah.
Or I feel like we have similar interests.
Yeah.
And it's not until you actually get to knowing a nigga that you're like, hold up, wait, you said what?
Yeah.
What? You did who?
When they meet your mindset.
Yeah. So I think it's a combination of all the things that we've said, but we definitely try to rush relationships in general because we want to feel comfortable, we want to feel loved, we want to feel like we have a support system around us. And if I'm comfortable enough with you, it's like, okay, well, you can't be too bad.
Yeah. And that's the problem, because if we go back to an episode we did on detachment, I love the mantra of like connected to everything but attached to nothing. Like you come as you are, you see what's going on. I don't immediately walk in with expectations of like you're gonna be the one, you're gonna be my person. I just come and see if I even, what is True Star State, see if I even like your face in person.
There we go.
And then we take it from there. But you're right. We always are looking at a finish line. And also, what can I get out of this deal? It's a transaction. Nobody's showing up to the space like, let me just have a good time. Let me just see what your energy is like. Let me just go from there. It's not happening that way. And I think that's why we run into a lot of these issues. So I want to ask, why do we, or more so, let me back up a little bit because I had a real juicy question. I'm going to hold that one. So tell me this, how do y'all think it should be approached? Because like we said, some people have agendas, some people show up and they, want a transaction. But how do y'all think it should be approached when someone has stopped being the friend to you that they, once were? And have you ever had that happen? Has anybody in the room? Yay or nay?
Yeah, absolutely.
So tell us more. Story time, somebody.
Go back to the question.
How should it be approached when someone has stopped being the friend to you that they once were?
So from my personal experience, because a lot of my friendships ebb and flow with honestly where I am in life and what I'm able to communicate.
Understandable.
So I now recognize that. But here recently, 2 friends that I just haven't had communication within several years have reached out to me and it's just like, hey, let's just talk, reconnect. And so I know this isn't your
question. How do you feel about that?
So that's where I'm going.
Okay. Yeah.
So with the one friend, I was uneasy because I'm like, I know why she fell out. She had the unfortunate pick of a baby daddy that wasn't shit, basically. Oh God. He kind of just drug her and it wasn't a good fit, but she was staying in it, trying to make it work, but she wasn't being honest
with herself, probably
with herself. But then I didn't feel like she owed me an explanation, but I knew she was changing during the course of this, whatever was happening. They moved, he kind of like isolated her and all the things. So I was like, okay. During that time, she wasn't ready to have that conversation. Yeah. But you're not gonna have me on the fence. You're not gonna just like hang me out to dry and call me when you need stuff. Because then you're depositing all the whatever you're going through in your relationship into me. Yeah. And I don't have the details. I don't know how to handle this. I'm just always angry. So I'm pretty sure I pulled back, but then I know she also pulled back because I was asking or needing too much in order to are you safe? Like, I just wanted to know the basics, but I didn't have that. Yeah. I didn't have access to that. So going back into present day, so she called me, and as I was preparing for this phone call, I was like, do I even want to have that conversation with her about what happened? Or do I just meet her with what she presents and be able to move forward? So during the course of the conversation, I checked out. I checked out because it was not funny. No, but it was like, girl, you're not addressing. And I didn't want her to explain it. It was the self-awareness because what did you want from this reconnection? Yeah. What was your purpose? And I asked her that because, again, with me checking out, I don't know what the hell you're talking about at this point. So let me press pause and just really ask you, what was your purpose for reaching back out to me? Because clearly it's been over 10 years at this point. But you still communicate with a mutual friend. So you know some things about me. Know some things about you. And she told me I just missed our friendship. And I said, okay, please explain.
What do you miss? When a nigga say I miss you, what do you miss?
What do you miss? And she couldn't articulate that. So then I was like, okay, let me stop pushing because obviously she wants something that we had back then, but we're in two different spaces.
I'm not this
person. I'm not going to be able to give you what I gave you before because now I know how to use my voice. I'm able to articulate how I feel and how I'm not going to allow you to drag us both in this relationship. So she goes into it. I'm like, okay, let me just press pause because I'm not going to be able to be that friend to you. Yeah. It didn't feel good at all. It didn't because I was like, she's reaching out for something, but I don't know what it is. And I'm in the 8, I'm in the 5 that we talked about in the beginning about self-love. And I know what I'm not going to allow back into my life. And you're not at that place that I need you. Yeah. So it felt great to have the outreach and have her say, hey, I missed this, but then it was like, you just ain't there yet. Yeah. You're not where I need you to be be put back into my daily rotation or, my friend group that I'm allowing to occupy my space. And so I always process things with another friend. And she's like, that is fair for you to have that conversation, but be aware, but recognize, like I said, she's reaching out for something. Yeah. There's something that she is not able to communicate because you were at this place. You should know, you should recognize it. But I'm not going to be that friend that I'm going to allow you to dump on. Yeah. So it's like, how am I going to navigate this thereafter? Because I may like shoot her a text in a couple weeks or something like, hey, girl, you good? You want to talk again? What's going on?
But how do you navigate that? If you've kind of handled things the way you did, like, do she want to hear from you?
I don't know. I haven't reached out. I don't plan to. But then it's kind of like, I don't want her to feel like I'm not a friend, but
you really aren't. Y'all aren't friends.
We're not friends, but I want better for you. And you gotta want it first. And I can't want it for you. I've been that codependent friend and that friend trying to do all the things for everybody. I'm not that anymore.
And you can't be. And it's a beautiful thing that you had enough strength and enough wherewithal to say like, hey, I can't do this. I can't be that for you. And it's great, because I think the compassion that you have within yourself and your empathy, you want to see her do well and rise to the occasion. But that's also another thing that's like, I want that from you. I can like pray about that, but I still really can't have a hand in that because what does that really look like? Me randomly reaching out, hey, how you doing? When we don't ever talk.
And for what?
It's like, for what?
I'm not going to continue that conversation. So, I'm not that person either to just be randomly checking in just to say I'm checking in.
Yeah, no, I don't need that check mark. No.
I'm not that type of friend.
Yeah, I get it. So yeah, that's real. So how long ago was that?
This phone call happened maybe 2 weeks ago.
Oh, it wasn't that long ago. How did that conclude?
I just ended the call.
You hung up on her?
I didn't hang up on her, but it's just like, it's like that awkward silence. And then it's like, I'm comfortable sitting in the silence, but then we're not just going to hold the phone and you're not going to start talking to your son in the background. Like thanks for calling. I just said, thanks for calling. Yeah. Thanks for calling. I'm glad to hear you're doing well or whatever she presented. And I just ended it. But I immediately called my other friend, the mutual friend who I'm super close with. I was like, hey girl, am I wrong? Like, what is this? What does she want?
Self-awareness. She wanted like a self-check. Like, let me be sure.
Am I tripping?
Not at all. You are not.
I'm comfortable. If I messed up or if I missed something, I would have been comfortable reaching back. I'm like, hey, and then working out. But I was like, nah, I'm gonna save that one.
Yeah, sometimes it's not worth it. You got to leave people where they are. It's like I don't wish you. I don't think I've ever had to do a friend like this, but how I do niggas. I don't wish you bad. I don't wish you well. I just wish you to stay where the fuck you are, away from me. So
that came with growth for me because usually and they don't even know why I'm
So Reese, what has been your experience with that? Have you ever been, approached with the situation of someone who stopped being the friend to you they once were?
So within my core group of friends, this last year for us as a whole has been challenging. We formulated this friendship in college, but we're all from the same place. And some of the ladies had, elementary school relationships, high school relationships. So we kind of, I guess, formed this super group. You know how the girls forming a super group. So we have this super Power Rangers. But throughout this friend group, like while we're trying to move forward with what we see or we've defined as a new friend group, there are still underlying issues amongst the individual dynamics. And within this last year, our group as a whole was challenged because some of those underlying issues began to resurface. And part of that resurfacing kind of just put the question on the table, like, well, are we even really friends like that? And we have conversations about, okay, so what does it take for me to be that friend to you? And then vice versa. And we've had this conversation as a friend group amongst two of the ladies that were back and forth and trying to figure out what does it take for me to be a friend to you. And one of the friends is explaining, here are the things that I need from you. This is what I need from you. But then the other friend that's supposed to be receiving this is kind of just like, but you're still not telling me what you need.
Right.
And for her, it was more so like, because we have these strange dynamics, we live in different places, like at the root of all of this, we are friends. At minimum, all that I have with somebody that I don't see daily or I can't reach on a daily basis is communication.
That's it.
So if I'm telling you, at minimum for you to be a better friend to me, I need communication, but you don't understand that. And you're still asking like, well, what do you need?
No,
it makes
I made it very clear. I made it very clear what I need.
It makes it complicated. So while, that was their individual dynamic and going back and forth, and what's needed from their individual friendship, additional conversations started to arise. And I tend to be the person that I listen to everything. I try to understand everybody's perspectives, whether I've disagree or agree with what they're saying. I'm always going to try to understand where someone is coming from. And I've learned that me giving my perspective to a friend on a friend's situation isn't necessarily received.
Right.
So at the point that, I offered a perspective to that individual issue that was going on, and it was kind of like, well, damn. Are you my friend? Like, you coming at me?
I'm questioning the shit now.
You're agreeing with her, or you feel like I'm wrong? Like, are we friends?
Yeah.
And for me, it's kind of like, well, that shouldn't be a question, because at the end of the day, self-awareness, one, is something that I guess I just assume that most people at this large age have.
Yeah.
So in having self-awareness, for me personally, I'm aware that my opinion may not be the same as yours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And even though it may be challenging to, you know, have this friend that you're looking at like, damn, we right here. Yeah. We've been right here, but then you learn like we don't agree on everything. That should not necessarily change the dynamic of the friendship. But at the point that I try to communicate that, oh, well, this is my perspective, but here's why. Or, you know, with the other friend in the group, here's what I need from you. Maybe I should have gave my perspective on their direct issue. But at the point that I can't share that or communicate my perspective with you in a healthy manner, I mean, are we friends? You know, like, because I'm going to expect the same respect that I give you.
Right.
If you're speaking or expressing your opinion, I'm going to respect your opinion because it's yours. Yeah. It's not to say that I got to apply it to my life.
Right.
So I think sometimes we're not ready. Friends may not be ready for the raw truth, and that kind of turns into a challenge. And then at that point, if I can't communicate my needs to you, and then someone else can't communicate that, oh, well, hey, here's another approach, here's something else to think about, then what are we doing?
Yeah. What are we doing? And that's the question a lot of people don't want to answer, I think, in friendships and relationships, period. Yeah. What are we doing?
What are we doing here?
So, I think they're comfortable asking in relationships, but with friendships, they don't want to let that go. I
think it's the expectation. Yeah. Like you kind of expect that your friends, because y'all have shared values and shared experiences, they're always going to default to your opinion or default to your view, which isn't always the case.
Right.
Now, I tend to be the person that, you know, I don't necessarily always offer my opinion because I know it doesn't really hold much value for someone that's trying to figure out how to apply some stuff to their life.
Yeah.
But at the end of it all, it's just kind of like, take it or don't. But it does not have to challenge the friendship itself. It does not have to challenge, like you said, the dynamic. And if it does, then
what are we doing?
What are we doing?
There's some other things to evaluate. Yeah. So what about you? Have you experienced that?
And I've been sitting here trying to think through it. I think so. I'm always that one that absorbs everybody, right? Okay. So as far as in the friendships, I'm more of, hey, I need to talk to you about something. And I think in this situation, it's not so much of me identifying a situation where someone was no longer a friend that I needed. Mm-hmm. It's more so me realizing that the type of things I need to ask for in my friendships that I wasn't before. Right. So you kind of like, once you have a friendship and you kind of like let things just flow. Like, this is expectation. Right. This is how it's supposed to interact with each other, there for each other, support each other, X, Y, and Z. But I had to realize that I was not always the friend that was, opening up to what all my BS, because you came to me, you done dumped on me. I was like, girl, my shit ain't even, it's not even important. But it's so much that you can take in as that friend that you don't realize that you need to set the boundary and identify like, hey, I hear you. I'm good on helping you out, but sometimes I need you to give me this, which is probably me interacting with you and it not be about something you bring into the table that I have to take on. So I haven't had a specific situation to that degree, but I have witnessed situations like that. Yeah. And the way that they were handled is either they don't fell out, like full-blown argument, fussing, fighting, and then everybody bringing up old shit, right? Yeah. So now all of a sudden she ain't shit, she a bitch, that type of situation. Yeah. And instead of owning the overarching thing is always that we're all growing, but we're not growing. So we're all over here, we're going different directions. You may do some things, girl, that ain't my thing, I don't agree with it, but I'm gonna let you do you. And then all of a sudden you don't support me because it's not your thing. Right. So, so I've bear witness to relationships or friendships falling apart in that direction, but nobody wants to sit down and have the adult conversation and saying, hey, maybe we just, it was good for that, but maybe we just not there anymore. And let's be honest about it. Yeah. Because I had that same conversation with my sister. Her friend is in a different space, but she is constantly calling my sister because she's dependent. A very dependent friend. And she said, Nikki, how do I talk to her and tell her that we don't have to be like, I'll be there for the kids because those are her god kids. I'll make sure they're good. But this other stuff, when she's married, she said, like this marriage situation, all that, I just, I
don't have the bandwidth.
Said, and so I was like, you're going to have that conversation. Because if not, you're going to start resenting her.
Of course.
And if you don't identify that and being honest and saying, hey, we're not in the same space, then you're going to always feel some type of regret, or she has no self-awareness.
And self-awareness is key. Without it, like
when you start saying it, I was like, damn, that's real. But
and we're definitely going to dive into that. Self-awareness is key.
I feel like a lot of people just don't want to identify the growth is such a huge impact on a lot of friendships.
Yeah. And that leads us right into the question of, what does it look like when you do outgrow a friendship? I was definitely thinking about that with you, Joy, in that situation, what the growth looks like. So, Joy, do you think when you were talking to the said person that you had the interaction with, where you kind of determined that, y'all's friendship wasn't in the same space, did you feel like mid-conversation, like, yeah, I've outgrown this, our friendship is just in like two different spaces? Like, what did that feel like mid-conversation with old girl?
Yeah, actually, I think when I checked out, I knew this
forgot you checked out.
This wasn't going anywhere, but I allowed her to continue talking. But I think, like I said, and I led with this in the beginning, like just knowing how I've grown, and I'm not expecting every one of my friends to be in such a great space that we're all on this, euphoric level and all this craziness. I'm not.
Don't be on a euphoric level. I hear that show about drugs.
Right.
But it's like you're on a high.
Yeah.
To be honest, right? But I just think I was expecting more, because also I was thinking, you have a child. So I think I put that into context, like, okay, the child is now 9. No, maybe like 8. You should have grown as an individual for your child. I think that's how I approached it.
Yeah.
I was wanting more. I was, like I said, I was excited to have her call, but I was also kind of like, all right, what am I walking into?
Yeah.
I never like to really be blindsided, but I'm open, because at one point I trusted this person. We were close friends, met in college, like we were cool, click tight. It was fun.
Yeah.
But also recognizing, like you said, like, that ain't me anymore. Like, that's not what I'm going to accept. And I'm not going to say it came easy. And I'm not going to say I've always been this friend that was so self-aware and understanding my worth and how I'm going to interact with people. But during those times, I had to learn how to really put myself first.
Yeah.
And understand what I'm going to accept and tolerate. Well, not tolerate, accept or not accept. Because if I keep saying I'm growing, but letting these unhealthy people in my life, am I really growing?
Are you really growing? Good question. So that's valid.
That's just what I've been working on.
And I think that's super fair. So, Reese, what would you say, like, in these situations where you might have somebody that has outgrown someone, or you're on just like two different pages, like the friendship you previously talked about? What role do you think self-awareness plays in that?
It should have played every role, but I appreciate it did. Because a part of that story that I gave kind of led into me realizing, like, okay, well, maybe I've grown from this individual relationship, because in me giving my opinion about how I felt, when you do certain things in life, you share with your friends, you move, or you get married, planning to get married, or you find a new life partner. Like, those are just things that naturally you buy a car, you buy a house, like just naturally things that you share with friends.
Yeah.
Some people don't think that that's necessary. And for me, it's kind of like,
pause. Is that odd to y'all? Like, if you have friends and they doing like big like things, and that's okay. I just post check. Carry on.
I was gonna post it on social media and act like you saw it on their story.
And that's how you
you're not telling
me.
And it's not even really just social media. It's just, and looking at how close we as friends are. And it's like, damn, you doing all of that, and I don't know that. It's kind of like, wow. But then me being the type of friend that I am, I always try to put myself in a place where I understand this person's perspective. And it's kind of like, okay, well, I'm going to hear you out, and I'm going to try to understand why you did what you did, but I don't necessarily agree
with it. Yeah.
Well, from that, I was told that me not agreeing with the approach tainted our friendship.
Hold on, because you didn't agree with the person?
Because I did not agree with the person's approach to not share certain details with their friends. And it, I'm not demeaning them or saying you're a terrible person. It's just like, okay, well, now I understand from you why you felt you wanted to do
but
that.
as friends, shouldn't you be able to say, like, Nikki, I think you could have did that a little different?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
so
yeah.
At the point that I can't share my perspective without it, being well, let me tell you how this makes me feel. And now I feel like this is challenging our friendship. I'm kind of like, well, at this point in my life, this isn't what I'm trying, the load that I'm trying to carry.
Yeah.
So because I'm in a place where I know I've grown, because before we could have argued that thing now.
Down.
But because I've grown and just considering all the things that were going on in my life at that time, I'm like, this is not a priority thing for me.
This is not how we
so
do
it's kind of just like I had to accept my growth in that I'm here. I'm not going to make someone feel ashamed for their decisions, their choices, but I can choose now how I go forward with this, relationship, now knowing the perspective that I know. So growth for me was really just setting that boundary where it's like, I don't dislike you as a person, but based on the things that were unveiled in the conversation, I kind of realized that we're at different growth levels.
Yeah.
So because I feel that I'm here and you're over there, like, it's not to say that I'm a bad person, you a bad person, or anyone outside looking in should look and be like, well, no, that person was wrong, but dog, you wrong. Like, not to say any of that, but just to share understanding that, okay, we've grown, we've matured, we in these large ages.
Yeah.
And we have different perspectives, and that's okay.
These big old age. And it's different. It's definitely okay, because I think in my life, I've seen certain situations, not necessarily exactly like yours, but just where we definitely are on two different pages. And my page isn't wrong. Your page isn't wrong. But I just see we aren't on the same page. And I really, the experience I've had is like, I don't really like how you navigate friendship. And I think that's at the core of like who you are, how we talked about all the experiences that have helped us to get to where we are with friendship. You haven't had those same experiences. So that may be why you don't navigate them that way. But at like 38, I'm not going to teach you. So it's like, I want to just love you from afar. I don't love you no less. I don't wish you no harm, but you not my ace boom coon. Like you just over there and you doing what you doing.
And then if in the future, like Joy had an opportunity to chat with the young lady, if it presents itself, great. But it's kind of like we have to prioritize, and like Joy said earlier, put ourselves first.
Yeah, absolutely.
And friendships aren't the only relationships. We have so many relationships that we have to navigate, to participate in.
Have to. It's a requirement. Like certain required. Like my relation, I can't not show up for some.
Right. Some are required. Yeah. So it's kind of just like, if I appreciate knowing the stance now.
Yeah.
And I acknowledge that we've grown in different directions, but that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
It's completely
no love
okay.
lost, but this just
But that's another gem that people need to understand, that it is okay if sometimes you go different ways, because then, say you have a disagreement or you just realize you're on the same page. Sometimes people then they mad that you like on different pages. Yeah. Like, why are you mad about that? Like, I can't win for losing. So what would y'all say, like, if somebody gets to that point where like they want to end a friendship? What should they do? Because I was like, you can't really just call like, hey sis, I don't really want to be friends no more. I mean, you can. I don't know how that would be received, but like, how do you, if it's necessary? Because I think sometimes it is, and sometimes it's easier like fade to black. Like you just let it fade. Like you're not talking, you let it go, you let it ride. But then sometimes people be like pressing. It's like, girl, I don't like you no more. Like so. But seriously, what do you do? What would y'all say? Like, I had to give a person like one tidbit if they wanted to like end the friendship on their end.
Use I statements.
What does that sound like? I hate you.
What's up? Because you don't want to go in it on the defense.
Yeah,
right. So you go in and look with some I statements, because it's gonna be uncomfortable for both sides.
Yeah.
Obviously, the other person's probably gonna feel blindsided because they think y'all friends or whatever the relationship. They're not aware.
Self-awareness.
Again, the thing. But I just say use I statements, because you want to take ownership in this conversation because you are going to, you don't know what it's going to be. And you just want to take the ownership. Like, I feel this relationship X, Y, and Z. And just be okay with that.
Yeah.
Just put it out there and be okay with it, however it sticks to the wall or doesn't stick to the wall. But just know how you're going into this. Because I haven't had to do it, but I've had difficult conversations with friends that I wasn't sure how it was going to end.
Yeah.
But I know I needed to get certain things off my chest.
Yeah.
I had to work on those, like, because I wanted to go into like, I hate you because you but that's not going to be effective. And then it's like, well, why
not at all.
Why waste my time?
Not at all.
So I had to reframe certain things. And it was helpful to have those conversations. It didn't go like what Reese said. It didn't go how I thought it would, but I'm okay with it because I got it off my chest and we're going to figure out how we're going to move forward.
Yeah. So and that's what matters. Would y'all agree with that? You got
I definitely agree. Yeah, definitely but I would like to add that you also know your audience. You know, correct. I would hope that if a person is your friend, you know what they're willing to receive or what they're prepared to receive. And the reality of it is everyone's not ready to receive that type of conversation. You know, even if you are approaching them in a very, targeted manner, some people may still find a way to take offense to it.
Of course.
So it's really about just, knowing who you're getting into it with and knowing how you have to converse with said person. Because we're going to go back to self-awareness. When people lack self-awareness, it does not matter what you say, how you say it, how many damn diagrams you got to explain it. It's kind of just like, well, they gonna hit you with a but I feel this, I feel always, that. And sometimes with those type of people, you kind of just gotta leave it where it is. Like, say your piece, be true to what you're saying, make sure that, if you said it is what you said and you stand behind it. Yeah. And whatever that they have to do with it after the conversation is done, that leave that for them.
Yeah.
Eventually, people will become self-aware. People will start to realize, like, well, damn, we didn't have to end it like that. Well, damn, she was saying some stuff that kind of made some sense. Yeah. And kind of let them come back around to that. And if you're ready to revisit that conversation, do so. But really just, know your audience.
Yeah.
And on the same line of that, you also have to know how valuable the friendship was to you, right? When you're having a conversation. Because if it didn't mean shit, you're gonna go in there like, okay, like Joyce said,
like they ain't shit.
It's just over, right? But if it really had a really good impact on your life, you all really did have some good things going, but of course life is just pulling you in different ways. I feel like you have to approach it that way. Like, I'm going to come to you and let you know that in the space that we're in, I don't feel that I can give you what you need in your space as a friend. And also, I feel that it may be challenging for you to give me what I need in my space. And so if you have a place a large value on what the friendship overall meant to you, you do have to kind of approach it that manner and say that it's not because of, well, I don't like you and yada, yada, yada. It's just that, life is lifing. So, I'm respectful of what life is taking you. I would hope you have that same for me.
Right.
But I feel like we just both don't have the time or the ability to contribute to this relationship the same way we used to.
In the same way. Yeah. And that's real. So I want to ask this. I know somebody that recently had a situation where a person ended an allegedly, a friendship with them because they feel like the person didn't support them with their new business enough, even though it was like no sign of the business in the world. So, this makes me feel like we're in times where people will quickly throw a friendship away for silly reasons. Because y'all see the memes and stuff on Instagram where people are like, your friend saying happy birthday under Rick Ross picture, but ain't say happy birthday under yours. Well, I definitely am all up under Mariah Carey's pictures every day. Like, that's my godmother. Let's be clear. But that don't mean that my friendships are any less. So seriously though, what do y'all think about? I just want to know your opinions. Like, what do you think when people move like this? Like, you don't post something, you don't show up to an event, you don't buy a book, you don't buy a sticker, and all of a sudden, like, y'all ain't friends no more. What y'all think about people like that?
Go to hell.
You know what I'm saying? My favorite line. Yeah.
Go to hell.
Yeah.
I don't think those people ever knew what a friendship was. If it's based upon something that small,
Not at all.
Because your friends are not required to, one, figure out if you have a business, especially if you don't tell them anything. So
let's start there.
There it is.
How will I know?
And two, it's like I wouldn't expect my friends to like repost everything or buy everything that I'm fucking selling. Like, if it don't vibe with them, it don't. But they are still my friends, nevertheless. But
and even if they do, like, I don't even know what their pockets like if I'm selling something. Like, it's a lot of variables. At the end of the day, I do business for the world. My client is the world. No friendship of mine is contingent upon the support of any friend in that capacity.
Absolutely.
Yes, I appreciate it 1,000%. I appreciate when y'all show up to even record with me. But if y'all to be like, I can't make it, Shayna, our friendship not over. Like, right. Like, it's a wrap. Like, that's wild to me. But I think it's someone posted the millennial urge to rush things, and also the millennial urge to have unrealistic expectations that the world revolves around you and everything.
It's ridiculous.
It's crazy.
Because it gets down to, like you said, the birthday post and stuff, but then like, oh, she posted pictures of so-and-so on her birthday, but they post none on my birthday. One, I don't be trying to post nobody.
Yes.
Two, when it come down to businesses, life events, and all of that type of stuff, I've literally been absent from social media for the last 6 months.
Yeah.
So unless you're communicating with me directly in the way that a friend would, bro, I don't know what the hell you got going on.
I cannot count on these social medias.
And then, like, if you got, for instance, a lash business, I don't damn wear lashes. Now, if I know about your business, I may be able to refer some people to you. I may be able to give you some tips on how you can create content to reach a larger audience. That's support.
Yeah.
But my financial support of your product should not be contingent. Our friendship should not be contingent on that. Because I may not use what you're selling.
Exactly. You're right. I had actually a friend, and this was a real friend, who said, like, Shayna, why you don't get your lashes done? I said, girl, I don't believe in paying like $8,500 for no lashes. I said, I work from home. Anybody gonna see them? I gave a whole lot of, so she was like, that's real. Like, she like, I mean, that's it. But then also, like, I actually do have a really good friend that has a lash business, and literally, but it's based in Mississippi. Mm-hmm. So when I don't post it, like, my followers really aren't in Mississippi, even though I'm from there. I don't wear lashes, but guess what? Like you said, I'm constantly putting her on game on content. Do this. I see something. We stay sending each other stuff. I see, like, so, but also as a friend, she's not even looking for that. She's appreciative when I send it, but she don't feel no way that I ain't get my lashes done. Like, my $85 or whatever it costs is not gonna make a break. Be Lavish business, y'all. Shout out to the brand. So like, that's not gonna make or break it. So I think it's
petty. Like, it gets pretty serious. Like, oh, she ain't. I got her a gift for her birthday. She didn't give me nothing, and it's kind of just like, well, that's where you establish the boundary. Yeah. If you want to be petty, just say, well, you didn't get me this year. I'm not gonna get you next year, and leave it there. But everything else that going with y'all friendship ain't got nothing to do with that. I'm not gonna not give you advice about your real life shit that you got going on because you didn't post me on my birthday.
Yeah. Right. But people really
are friends that you can't explain their business.
Say, what do you mean? Hold on, wait, what? What do you mean?
Like, I have friends that have platforms and they want me to buy or repost, and I don't know anything about. I've seen it, but I can't tell you what they do because they do.
I'm not that friend.
Hold on, so the platform is not clear.
It's not clear.
Oh, that's a bad sign.
It be like that sometimes, though.
I'm
doing a little of this and a little of that, and then
they say you gotta find your lane, people. You gotta pick one or two things. You gotta be clear. What are we doing over here?
Audience?
Or at least give me your elevator pitch so I could post that. Yeah. I just post it verbatim.
Who's your audience? You have to understand.
But I think a lot of their friendships are so social media based. So like you said, who's posting my picture, who's shouting me out, who's doing a reel, or the only way we stay communicating in each other's life is because we posted it. And that's your announcement to me. I'm not that friend. Don't tell me shit on social media because I ghosted real fast. So it's like,
your friends definitely gonna know before the drop.
Yeah, your friends should, because it's like, if it's a big thing in your life, if you have friends, then you want to go ahead and say, okay, y'all, I got an announcement.
Yeah.
So y'all won't be shocked, or you won't feel some type of way.
Text.
Yeah, it's that simple.
Because the group text gets all the announcements.
Yeah, it's that simple. It's that simple. You rolling through it. So, like, y'all stop being petty. Stop doing it. Like, if your friend don't post their flight, that don't mean they ain't your friend. If they tell Rick Ross happy birthday, they like Rick Ross. He human too. Celebrities are human beings. Let's be clear. So even though I may be the millionth post under Mariah Carey's picture, I'm gonna still tell her happy birthday. And on that note, we'll be right back with the Living Single segment.
This now brings us to the Living Single segment of the podcast. It's simply a segment where we want to send you good vibes, good energy, and give good advice on any questions that you may have about being single, dating, or relationships. Remember, nothing is off limits. So, welcome to the Living Single segment of the show, and let's get into it.
All right, so now this brings us to the Living Single segment of the show, and this question is from our website. So, ladies, don't all feel free to go at once I read it. I am a 37-year-old woman with 2 kids, and it seems like every man I meet has no kids and is not a fan of mine once they find out I have kids. I started thinking about lying. She said, she said, I started thinking about lying about having kids just to strengthen my chances in relationships. She said, but I know that won't work long term. No. What do you recommend single moms do to find love? Find you a nigga with kids too. Yeah. What?
I mean, or make that be one of the first things before I even get past the initial "Hey, how you doing?" stage. Like,
don't lie, sis.
That's a package.
Please don't lie.
They need to know the package up front. You can't pack, kid. What you gonna do? Don't go in that room.
Well, hopefully you probably could hide kids for like a strong 3 months. Like if you going out, if you going out and you're not,
that is, yes.
She probably like her mom or somebody in town.
So. It better be free.
She got like free daycare. But don't hide your kids, sis. But you could hide them for a couple. Like, I'm playing.
I don't know. I mean, so I was listening to a YouTuber the other day where this exact scenario kind of came up, and she kind of was suggesting that women withhold the child or personal type information until said man gets to know you as a woman. No. So it's not necessarily from her perspective. It's not saying don't just outright lie and say I ain't got no kids, but I guess to kind of avoid that,
you could go around it in the conversation, but I think it's easier. You may get your feelings hurt because if y'all get to know each other for a while and then you withhold the information, not lying, but you wait and say it, and he immediately is
that's
like,
a deal breaker.
I don't deal with women with kids. It's gone, you know. So
now you hurt, and now you don't waste it. However much
I definitely want a man to tell me up front so I can know. Let me choose because I made
my choice.
Yeah, all these situations, people understand the power of the choice. Absolutely. Tell me if you have choice. So sis, do not lie.
But then also understand that it's okay if certain men don't prefer you with kids, because there's some out there that don't mind.
They don't
mind you having kids. So
I mean, some that don't have kids that don't mind it, and some with kids that don't mind.
So just find your lane. There we go. Back to the
find your tribe.
Because you won't keep them anyway if you lie about it.
You won't.
And what you gonna do with the kids? You gonna kill them, bitch? What you like?
Yeah, what you doing with these kids?
Right.
They gonna still be at the house.
They still gonna be at the house.
Girl, it is. I think the thing is, it's really not a catch. I guess it could feel daunting at some point if you also, hold on, let me go back. The other thing is, where are you hanging out that you are mainly meeting single men, men with no kids? Not saying that every nigga running around in the city got kids, but you can go to certain places and spaces and meet. Go to the little jump trampoline place. Go to the park. Go where the people get your ass out of Minerva. You in the weekend in 3,000 and vibes. Yes.
No kids crew.
Them niggas definitely don't have. If they do, they got either 0 or 7. And you don't want either one.
That ain't doing nothing.
Yeah, and none for either one. So yeah, sis, don't lie.
It's hope. There is someone out there, but don't lie, because I know how I would feel if somebody lied or withheld some information that naturally should just come up in conversation. Yeah. I mean, by date 2 or 3.
Well, naturally, conversation number 1. I'm
like
the nigga. How many kids you got?
Like, well, it depends.
It does on a person. Some people don't
like
ask.
To take the approach to less.
Yeah, some people don't ask right up front.
Some people they like first date, like, oh, so what do you do? Like that type stuff. Well, not me necessarily. Let's just go put it on out there. But some people like to. That's just their preference. Don't be surprised. Right. Don't be surprised at the reaction.
There's a lot of other things you can lie about that I would recommend.
Just don't lie. We too grown for this. Don't lie. It's somebody out there for you.
And take the lesson. As a person with kids, let that be one of your first questions.
I thought you were saying you had kids. I'm like, I ain't know. No. She slid that in there.
That's for her.
You slid that baby in there.
Has children. She should be asking that though. As a person with children, if that's something that is important to you, or if you're trying to gauge if they do want someone with children, I feel like you should go. I guess your experiences, you should go ahead and ask that question up front to try to go ahead and get out the way, so you won't hurt your children.
Yeah, daddy daycare, y'all could just y'all go dates together. He might have a good babysitter. You gonna need it, but don't lie, sis.
Please don't.
Go to places where you could probably meet a man with kids, or just be upfront. You know, every man that's without kids doesn't have a desire to not have them. It could be circumstances why they don't. So. You know, the man of your dreams could be waiting for you right now. Leroy is waiting on you to take care of you.
Why you gotta be Leroy?
Leroy waiting to take care of you and them 2 kids, girl. So make sure you don't lie to him. And if y'all want y'all's questions answered on the next episode or any episode, make sure y'all send it in on Instagram DMs or on the website, www.shannamontana.com. And on that note, we will be right back with the resolution. All right, so now this brings us to the resolution segment of the show, and the listeners know what this is by now. So I'm going to ask you ladies, quick round table, what would you all say the resolution is to helping listeners understand that true friendship really is invaluable? And we'll start with you, Nikki.
I would say to anyone that the same energy that you put into a romantic relationship, don't negate that for your friendships, because they need their own time to be cultivated. They need their own time, maybe for a break. You know, it happens. But you have to be able to not only come to friendships with your needs, your wants, but be willing to understand that other person, where they are in life, and how that makes you all bond, or how can that move you forward? But also, I mean, just be honest when you feel like, you know, sis, this ain't it. Like, we're just not there anymore. And because I feel like that's a more respectful way to move.
Yeah.
The other person will appreciate you not wasting their time and us, I guess a fraudulent relationship, friendship, right? But I mean, take the lesson you learn from it and move forward, regardless. But yes, I just feel like a lot of people don't put in the time, like you said, microwave. And you have to be able to commit. If you want to have a friendship with somebody, be able to commit yourself to making it grow.
Absolutely. Reese, what would you say?
I'm going to just come behind that and say that if you value it, put the work into it to make it the friendship that you'd expect. Make sure that you are being true to yourself first and foremost, because that's the only way to identify the type of relationship you would expect, but always work at it if it's something that's valuable.
Love it.
Yeah, and I think you both said it so eloquently. I'll just add a little bit, because I was going to say honesty. Be honest and upfront about what you want out of the relationship, and know what you're able to give, so that those lines are clear and those boundaries are clear. But also, like what Reese said, make sure you're putting in the work. It's nothing. There's not a worse feeling than just like being in something and it's just like you're stuck in quicksand, like you can't get from up under anything. Like, well, what are we doing? What are we doing? We always having that conversation. So just be true to yourself, be in it to win it, and everybody, just love on each other a little bit.
I love it. Love on each other a little bit more. And I normally don't add right here, but I want to say this, like, if you've gotten to a place where you feel like you have neglected the friendship, you can get back to it if you are intentional about it. And if you are open to have a real conversation filled with self-awareness with that person that's a part of it. Because I think Reese said it earlier, or someone said it earlier. You can't be like, you can't be accusatory. It's both sides of the story. So I think you have to do a real assessment of what the situation is. You have to judge, do you want to put the work into it? Because it's not going to happen overnight. And you may, just like a relationship, you may have a conversation and it doesn't go the way you want immediately. You don't get the friendship back immediately, but you are intentional about working at it and you understand the value that it holds. And you're willing to, stay the course to see it through. So I think the underlying issue of that is the self-awareness of knowing where that comes from. And then the other part is we give these niggas 1,000 chances. Absolutely. Your friend forgets to call you back and you ready to end it all. So, that's extreme, but I'm saying, what we give men in relationships is at like a level 10. And we tend to sometimes give our friendships a level 4. So we need to even the playing field. We probably need to reverse it because Kamora Lee Simmons said it best, and I'm going to say it forever. She always said, way back in the days of Fabulosity, some of y'all may not know about that, but she always said, these men will come and go. She said, but my friends and my kids going to be here forever. So, don't be neglected like that. Girl, don't be neglecting your kids for no man. Let's start there. Right. And then definitely also, and I've talked about this on other episodes, don't neglect your friendships for a man because you have to find balance. You and your partner have to have relationships and friendships outside of one another. If you don't, that's not healthy. You need to evaluate why that's happening. So overall, self-awareness is key. Acknowledging if there has been neglect, where the gaps need to be filled and what that looks like and the time to get back to it because it's not going to happen overnight. And just recognizing that, the value of friendships, is worth the weight of gold if you really treat them as you should. And that's the lesson I want everyone to walk away from. So on that note, give yourselves a round of applause for an amazing episode. You guys know your opinions are always valued and appreciated. And before we go, I'm going to have you guys tell the listeners again where they can find you. Joy, we're going to start with you. Where can the people find you?
In Nashville.
In the streets of Nashville. Reese, where can the people find you?
Same. Catch me outside. We're all
in the deal. So
all right,
here,
okay.
You might see us.
In the streets of Nashville, y'all can find them. If y'all need their address, just let me know. I'll make sure I send it to you. But seriously, again, this conversation has been super awesome. It's always a pleasure to have these types of conversations with awesome women who I call my friends. And on that note, we will be right back with the Montana Minute. And now this brings us to the Montana Minute. The first thing, friendships are serious business, if you want them to be. Friendships are a valuable thing that people should not take for granted. The next thing, it's okay to recognize that there are levels to friendships and not everyone will show up in the space the same or remain in the place they started when it comes to friendships. And the last thing, recognize that friendships take work. You shouldn't keep score, but you have to acknowledge where you stand in someone's life to know the work that you need to put in when necessary. So, be sure that you visit our new website, www.shannamontana.com, and check out our bonus episode with an exclusive on Spotify this week. And now, I leave you to decide to be single or not to be. That is the final question. Signing off, yours truly, Shanna Montana.